this is to stop the flies, because especially in breeding season, you got a lot of flies here. See that there? You take that out, you put it on your head like that. You can see through it quite clearly, okay? Because it does get very bright here, I often wear sunglasses under this as well. But you can still see very clearly. You put this on your head, and there's a lot of people. There's a lot of humans that get about like this under a hot Australian sun when there's a lot of flies, because they're working on stuff. See, for instance, if you like a bean counter with milky hands, you might get the opportunity, if you're lucky, to also wear a hat like this and some netting like this underneath it, so you can work without being bothered by the flies getting in your eyes and up your nose and in your mouth under a hot Australian sun in the middle of the desert. Now, these are some of the books I've read, and I highly recommend them as being good reading material. There's this one. I'll get up close so you can see the cover. So if you can read that and actually understand it, you'll know that you're an intelligent person. Not just a clever person, but an intelligent person. And I don't care if you've got a PhD or whatever. If you can read this book and understand what the fuck it's talking about, you're an intelligent person. I highly recommend this book. In fact, this is the book I more highly recommend than any other book is this book. That may change in the future, I can't say for sure, but this is an extremely good book, okay? I've got a link to it under under some of my content, and one on my Twitter account particularly, Deadly Music. Go to Deadly Music on Twitter. I think it's @MusicDeadly. And you'll see a lot of just scroll through my posts. They're all worth reading, my posts. No one does, because unfortunately the means average of the lowest common denominator consensus narrative doesn't quite get it, okay? And if you read this book, you'd understand all about that. You'd understand about the means average of the lowest common denominator consensus narrative and how they don't necessarily get corralled to the top-notch content, such as my content. But read that, do yourself a favour and read that. I will give you a word of warning. If you do read this and take the time to understand it and respect it, you'll need to respect it. If you don't respect it, you could do yourself more harm than good. So I don't recommend this to a practicing alcoholic. I don't recommend this to a practicing drug fiend. I don't recommend this to any person who is not sincere about living a sober, spiritually mature, emotionally mature and spiritually advanced life, okay? You could wind up doing yourself more harm than good. This is a worthwhile read. And this is the book